Hi everyone, me again. My name is Kate Dunlap and I'm the academic advisor for the Weber Honors College. If you need closed captioning for this video, click CC below. The most important thing you need to know is in the first 30 seconds of this video, you need to enroll in an open section of Honor 113 for the fall semester. That's a 3-unit course. And yes, you need to enroll in an open section of Honor 113 during your SDSU orientation day when you register for classes. You're welcome to waitlist for another section that might be closed during your registration time, but make sure you're enrolling in an open section of Honor 113 during your registration time to set yourself up for success in the fall semester. The rest of this video is going to show you how to enroll in your honors classes and how to plan for your GE and major courses for the fall. I'm also going to include a lot of frequently asked questions at the end of this video, so feel free to jump around throughout the video to different parts of it. And also all the links that I'm going to discuss today will be included in the video description below. So let's jump right in and talk about what's going to happen during your SDSU orientation day. You should have already started your pre-orientation modules online. These became available to you as soon as you registered for your SDSU orientation day. If you're having any trouble accessing these pre-orientation modules online, please email orientation@sdsu.edu to get some help. On your actual orientation day, you're going to start bright and early with check-in beginning at 8 a.m. You'll also meet with an SDSU ambassador who is an upperclassman who's trained to help you with orientation. And then you'll also at some point meet with the assistant dean of your college who's going to share a bunch of important resources for you that are available for you as a student in that major. And then finally, the exciting part, during your orientation day, you're going to be getting fully registered in all of your courses for the fall semester. But how will you know how to register or what to take? The rest of this video is going to cover that entirely, so make sure to watch it all. After watching this video, you'll have an opportunity to schedule a one-on-one advising appointment with me to plan out your fall classes. Yeah, that's right. You'll have your exact classes in your planner before you attend your SDSU orientation and register for your classes. But don't wait to meet with me until your orientation day. Let's make sure to meet before then. Before your orientation day, the most important thing is that you're taking any required placement exams for your major. The biggest ones are going to be math if you're taking calculus, and chemistry if you're a STEM major. If you haven't taken a placement exam or you're not sure if your major requires one, go to the SDSU Testing Services website. I'll make sure to include a link to their website in the video description below. And if you don't see your major listed on either of the math placement or chemistry placement exams, then don't worry about it, you don't need to take it. Also, make sure to submit any AP or IB scores that you might have or any dual enrollment from community college. And just to quickly clarify, I'm your honors academic advisor and I'm your coordinated care advisor, and I'm one of many advisors that you're going to have on campus. You'll also have your own major advisor who will work with you exclusively on your major prep and major requirement classes. And so it's your job to really put together your major requirements, your GE requirements, and your honors minor requirements. But I understand that could be kind of challenging sometimes. So that's where I come in. I can help you put everything together to create a balanced schedule every semester. And I can also help you determine where you can fit in your honors minor requirements into your 4-year plan. So I want to give you a quick overview of what being in the Weber Honors College means for you. Let's fast forward 4 years from now. When you graduate, you'll be competing with thousands of other graduates who have a 4.0 GPA and the same major as you for different jobs in graduate schools. So what's going to set you apart? The honors minor focuses on interdisciplinary studies, which means we're looking at different topics from different lenses and viewpoints. Every single honors class that you get to choose has a different topic, and there's not one major that's a better fit for honors than another. One question that we get a lot is that are honors classes harder than other classes I'm taking at SDSU? And the answer is usually no. Honors classes are smaller, they're about 25 students, and generally they are discussion-based, which means you're having open conversations with your classmates and your professor. And so because they're small discussion-based classes, instead of just having a professor kind of lecturing at you for an hour and a half twice a week, you get to really be engaging with your peers and your professor in that course. A lot of times students tell us that their honors courses are some of their favorite courses they've taken, and they've actually been a GPA boost for them, and that sometimes their major courses tend to be more challenging. So no, I wouldn't say that the honors classes are comparable to AP, IB, or honors classes that you may have taken during high school. What's really cool too is that you'll be mixed with all majors during your honors classes. So it's a really great opportunity to get to mingle and network with your peers who you may have otherwise not gotten to know. Now, one thing to note is that the honors small classes only affect the honors classes for the minor and interdisciplinary studies. So you may still be taking really large major classes. You may be taking an intro class in your major that has a couple hundred or a few hundred students. So please just be aware of that. Another cool thing is that you're required to complete an international experience or study abroad experience as a part of the honors curriculum. So that's another thing that will definitely set you apart. And you'll also have the support of myself and the honors staff to help you with things like planning for graduate school, looking for career and internship opportunities, looking for different fellowships, ways to get involved on campus and off campus. So we really like to support you with that as well. I've talked about the honors minor a lot, so let's break that down. The honors minor in interdisciplinary studies is a 16-unit minor, and you'll be taking 4 of those units in the fall semester. Honor 100, which is a 1-unit course, and Honor 113, which is a 3-unit course. The 1-unit course that you'll be taking, Honor 100, is an introduction to honors seminar class that you'll be taking at 9 a.m. on Wednesdays. So it's a 50-minute class just from 9 a.m. to 9:50 a.m. And you'll be taking this with all the incoming freshmen in the Weber Honors College. So this is the only class that's an exception to the small honors class size rule. This will be, again, a really big course because it will be with all the incoming honors freshmen, which is also kind of fun and exciting. And this class is really going to cover how to be successful in the Weber Honors College, but also at SDSU in the next couple of years. It's important to note that you will automatically be enrolled in Honor 100. So this class you will already be enrolled in, and you'll want to make sure that you are planning your other classes around this 1-unit Honor 100 class that, again, is taking place Wednesdays from 9 to 9:50 a.m. The other honors class that you'll be taking in the fall semester is the 3-unit Honor 113 class. This is a class that I mentioned in the very beginning of the video. So this class is small, it's about 25 students per section, and you'll get to choose the topic that you want to enroll in for the fall semester. So I've included in the email the course descriptions for all the different sections of Honor 113 and all of the schedule numbers. And we'll go over those a little bit later together. All of the Honor 113 sections have different days, different times, different topics, different professors. So that's why it's really important that you're setting some time aside to read through the Honor 113 course descriptions to get a better feel for the classes. Let me show you how to plan your Honor 113 class using the planner function in Web Portal. So when you log on to Web Portal, it's going to look like this. So what you're going to want to do is click on My Registration tab over here on the left-hand side, as you can see. So go ahead and select that first. And then you're going to want to make sure that the period is updated to fall 2022. So you can see that this is a little out of date from a few years ago. So some things might look slightly different on Web Portal, but this kind of gets the point across. So go ahead, click Update to Fall 2022. And then from there, you're going to want to select where it says Plan for a Class over here on the lower left-hand side. And then from there, you will enter the Honor 113 schedule number for the section of Honor 113 that you'd like to plan for. And we'll look at that in just a moment. And then once you have your schedule number right here, you'll click Continue. And then you'll be able to see that it has been successfully added to your planner on Web Portal. This chart is included in the email that I've sent you. So we can see right here, these are all the different sections of Honor 113 that will be available in the fall. So you need to enroll in an open section of Honor 113 during your SDSU orientation day when you're registering for your courses. You're welcome to waitlist if there is a section that you're interested in that is filled up by the time your orientation happens. But I like to be honest with you and let you know it's very, very unlikely that you will get into a waitlisted section of Honor 113, since, like I mentioned, every single incoming freshman needs to take an open section of this in the fall. So what you'll want to do is, you can see it's Honor 113, you can see all the different schedule numbers. You're able to see the titles for all the classes. You can see the days, the times, the location, and who the faculty member is, which is really cool. So like I was mentioning, here's the schedule number. So you'll want to identify which course that you're interested in taking. And then when we go back to our planner instructions here, this is where you'll enter that schedule number. And again, you'll just click Continue and then see that you have planned for it successfully on Web Portal. Sometimes the title doesn't give us everything that we need to know about a class. So that's why it's going to be very important for you to read through the course descriptions for 113. So as you can see, we have here the title, the professor, the time, just like you would see here, right, on the schedule number chart. But every single class has like a little blurb about it. You can read the description, what you'll be learning about, and this will really help you gauge what you're most interested in taking for 113. Remember, we are only planning for classes before you attend your SDSU orientation day. The first day of orientation is July 8th, so students will start officially enrolling in classes then. It is possible that by the time you attend SDSU orientation, depending on when your orientation is, your first or maybe even your second choice of Honor 113 will be full. That's why it's going to be really important for you to select a few backup sections that you'd be happy to take. You're welcome, like I said, to waitlist for a full section of Honor 113, but you must be actively enrolled in an open section of Honor 113 when you leave your SDSU orientation day. It's also very unlikely that students are going to drop Honor 113 and that a space will open up in a full section, and professors will not be adding additional seats to the courses. So it's really, really, really crucial that you are enrolling in an open section of Honor 113 when you register for courses. So earlier in this video, I talked about making sure you have a balanced schedule every semester. So let's break that down a little bit. You'll have major specific courses that you have to take. For your first 2 years, you're usually taking lower division major courses, which are commonly referred to as major prep classes. And then in your last 2 years of college, you'll be taking upper division major courses, which are generally referred to as major requirement courses. And then everyone, regardless of what your major is, has general education or GE requirements. You'll have several lower division GEs that you'll take in your first 2 years, and then you'll have a few upper division GEs called GE explorations that you'll take in your last 2 years here at SDSU. So every semester, we try to have a nice balance of major courses, minor courses, and then GE classes as well. For the fall semester, I would recommend that you take between 13 and 17 units. You can't enroll in more than 18 units until the first day of classes, and generally I wouldn't recommend you take that many units anyways. However, I do know that there's some majors that require you to take on a heavier load of units. So if you have any questions about this or just want some extra help to talk about it, I want to make sure you're feeling supported. So please let me know so we can chat about it. All right, let's get into the planning process. Quick note, you may have elected to be pre-registered for courses. Not all majors have this opportunity. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. So if you were pre-registered though in your courses, the only class you'll have to add yourself is Honor 113. If you have any questions about this, so please send me an email and let me know. We have another really useful resource called MyMap that will show, based off of your major, which GE courses and major courses you need to take to be graduating within 4 years, and kind of the order that you'd be taking those classes in. One thing to note about MyMap though, it is not personalized. So it's a really useful tool, but please know it's not, including if you had any AP or IB classes or transfer credit, it's not including any minors in MyMap. So it's a good resource, but not 100% accurate by any means. Let me show you how to briefly use MyMap. So you'll go ahead and you can search for MyMap. If you just Google SDSU MyMap, it should pop right up. But again, I'll include the link for this in the video description below. So once you're on MyMap, the first thing you'll want to do is select your catalog year. Your catalog year is when you're starting at SDSU. So in your case, it's going to be 2022. So we can select that. And then let's go ahead and select a popular major so we can look up general business. So we would just scroll down here. We can see all the majors are in this list, and we'll select business administration, general business. So you can click that and then select submit. And then as you can see here, like I was saying, you can see every year for 4 years kind of mapped out for you. Again, super generic, but it is showing you GE courses you need to take, major prep courses you need to take. So we can see our first year, second year, third year, and fourth year here. Now, one thing important to note will be GE courses. So for example, if we're looking at our fall semester for the first year, we can see GE written communication. We can see GE math, which is also a major prep course for general business. So it's Stat 119, or you can take Econ 201. So in a case like this, where you have or for something like major prep or GE math, it means you get to select one of these classes to fulfill that requirement. And then we can also see a case of another GE, social and behavioral sciences, overlapping with another major prep course for business. So that would be Econ 101. So it's kind of nice. You can see it lays out the courses here. Again, 95% of students are not following MyMap exactly because students are coming in with AP credits or other units from community college, or they're taking a minor, or they're doing summer classes. So things can look a little bit differently, but this definitely gives you a really good guide to follow. So you might notice when you log on to Web Portal to register for your courses, it might say that you're required to take certain GE courses. It may say something like GE Communication, GE Oral Communication, GE Critical Thinking, or GE Math. That means that you're assigned to take these classes in the fall semester and you won't be able to register in any of your other courses until you register in these very specific GEs that Web Portal will make you enroll in. So let's go back to my map and take a look at this. So for example here, GE Written Communication, because there's no course right next to it and just says GE Written Communication, it means you'd be able to choose any of the courses, any of the GE courses that are going to fulfill written communication. And again, like GE Math, this is something you will have to take in the fall semester unless you have credits already fulfilling it. You get to choose from these two. And then it also shows, GE Arts and Humanities, GE Ethnic Studies, American Institutions / Ethnic Studies. Some of these could potentially be moved around. But I want to take a look at a Bachelor of Arts degree to show you something else. So let's select another map. And again, we're going to select our catalog year of 2022. And let's choose another popular major that's a Bachelor of Arts degree. Let's choose psychology. So let's find this here. Okay, and again, we'll just click submit and it shows us another 4-year plan for psychology. So something you might notice with any of the Bachelor of Arts degrees at SDSU is that you're required to fulfill a language requirement. So we can see right here in our first semester, GE Arts and Humanities, some of your humanities units can actually overlap with your language, which is really nice. So you'll notice this for all of the Bachelor of Arts degrees at SDSU. So with the language requirement, you are required to complete through the 3rd semester of a language. You may have already cleared this language requirement with AP classes you took, or if you took a certain amount of years of a language course during high school. But if you didn't clear it, you're going to want to start your language sequence in the fall semester. So here's where it can start to get a little bit complicated. As I mentioned, you need to complete through the 3rd level or 3rd semester of a language here at SDSU to fulfill that requirement for your Bachelor of Arts degree. So there's 2 ways that you're able to fulfill this. One, you can start with the very first level of a language. So basically starting from scratch and then complete level 1, 2, and 3 throughout 3 semesters. Or let's say you have some proficiency in a language, maybe you took it for a couple of years in high school, you could take a language proficiency exam, and that would be offered through SDSU testing services. I'll show you how to find that in a minute. And again, just like all the other links, I'll include that in the video description below. But let's say you take a language proficiency exam, and the benefit with this is that maybe you take it, you place into the 2nd level or 2nd semester of a language, then you would only have to take 2 classes, right? So level 2 and level 3 to complete through the 3rd level of a language. So the nice thing with that is that you're actually saving yourself some units that you might not have to take if you place into higher class to start with. So if you're interested in taking a language proficiency exam, you'll want to go to testing.sdsu.edu to go to SDSU's testing services website. Then you'll just want to scroll down here, select where it says current students. And then from here, you can see all the language proficiency test links. So right here, we have listed Japanese language proficiency test, and then we have the Spanish language proficiency test. And then for any other foreign language proficiency test, you would send an email right here to testing services to let them know you're interested in taking the proficiency exam. Let's go back to my map and let's use psychology again as an example. So we can see right here, 1st year, fall semester, there's a pretty set list of courses that it recommends you take. And it recommends that you take 16 units, but you need to take 4 units of honors classes in the fall as well. So 1 unit of Honor 100 and 3 units of Honor 113. And we don't want you to have to take those 4 units of honors courses on top of the already full schedule. And I really wouldn't recommend taking 20 units in the fall semester. So you have 2 options of what you can do for the fall semester in order to fit in those 4 units of honors courses. The first thing would be if you have already completed a course, a GE course, or maybe a major prep course through AP credit or community college credit or IB credit, then what you would do would just be cross off those units and then replace it with the 4 units of honors courses. So for example, let's say that you're coming to SDSU with your Psych 101 credit already completed through either AP or community college. You would just cross off this requirement right here and you would enroll in your 4 units of honors classes in its place, which would put you at 17 units total for the fall semester. The second option would be moving one of your GE courses to another semester and then instead taking your 4 units of honors classes. One thing to note is that you cannot move GE written communication, GE oral communication, GE critical thinking, or GE math if it is listed for you to take that in the fall semester. Those courses, if they are meant for you to take in the fall semester, you must take them. So we could look at a different GE to move. The easiest one generally is going to be our American Institutions units. So you could move your American Institutions units to another semester, potentially the spring. And of course, we can always meet again this fall to talk about planning for your spring semester. But you can move those units for the fall and then take your 4 units of honors classes in its place. In addition to American Institutions, the best GEs to generally move would be GE Lifelong Learning and Self-Development, GE Arts and Humanities, or elective courses, as long as it's not something that's overlapping with your major prep, because you're going to want to make sure to stay on track with your major prep as much as possible. And again, when we meet during our one-on-one advising appointment before your SDSU orientation day, we can talk about which course would be best for you to swap out so you can make sure you're taking your Honor 113 and Honor 100 in the fall. Since I mentioned the American Institutions requirements, let me show you really quickly which of these overlap with the Ethnic Studies requirement. So this is the SDSU degree evaluation. So you'll be able to see on your degree evaluation all the courses that you're required to take for your GE, your minor, and your major. So when we look at American Institutions requirements, we can see that there's 3 right here. So we have American history, we have US Constitution, and we have Cal State and local government. And then down here, we also have an ethnic studies requirement. So what I generally recommend students do, instead of taking 4 classes, so instead of taking an American history, a US Constitution, a Cal State and local government, and ethnic studies, I recommend taking 2 classes that overlap with their requirements. So for example, you could take a class that takes care of ethnic studies, US Constitution, and American history, which would just leave you with Cal State and local government. A good example of that would be AFRAS 170A. So we can see it right here. So we can see AFRAS 170A is listed for American history. It's listed for US Constitution, and it's also listed down here for ethnic studies. Another example is you could take a class like AMND 141. So we can see this listed right here under Cal State and local government. We can see it also fulfills right here, American history, and we can see it down here under the ethnic studies requirement, right here, AMN 141. So I recommend that when you're looking for ethnic studies courses, you look to find one that is going to overlap with at least 1 or 2 of those American Institutions courses. Okay, so now that you have an overview of which classes you'll need to take during the fall semester, how do you know what credit you'll have from your AP scores? I've included a link to this AP chart in the email and also in the video description below, but let me show you how to interpret it real quick. So to get to this chart, you will need to scroll down a bit on this webpage, or you can just search for advanced placement on the website. So what you'll need to do is first look at the exam that you took. So let's use AP language for an example. So we can scroll down here and see it listed under English. So right here, it will see the score that you'll need to have gotten in order to get credit, and then how many semester units of credit will be allowed towards the degree, and then the SDSU course equivalent. So for example, if we go back to that AP language, we can see that if you scored a 3 or a 4, you can get up to 6 units of credit at SDSU. So we'll fulfill RWS 100 and then 3 units of RWS 299. Also shows you here if there's any extra notes you should know. So it satisfies freshman writing competency. That's great. Another example of a popular class would be stats. So let's look at the AP stats exam. So right here at the very bottom, we can see the different scores that you could get, how many units of credit you will receive at SDSU, and that it will take care of STAT 250 and satisfies the freshman math competency. So another great example. And then finally, I know AP US History is a very popular exam for students to take. So let's take a look at that. So US History, again, if you score a 3, a 4, or a 5, you can get 6 units of credit. So it can fulfill History 109 and History 110 at SDSU. It can take care of some of your American Institutions requirements, which are really great. So it fulfills your American history and also fulfills that US Constitution requirement. One thing that I do want to point out though, is that AP exams cannot fulfill that California government requirement that we were just looking at on the degree evaluation. Another useful resource that I want to show you is the class schedule tool on web portal. So if you just Google SDSU class schedule, it should pop right up. Again, like everything else, I'll make sure to include this link in the video description. But the first thing you'll want to do when you log on here is make sure the period is updated to fall 2022. Right now it may be set to summer 2022, so just important, select fall, click update, and it'll take you to fall. And then let's use Psych 101 as an example for a class we want to search for. So you'll just click course subject, and we'll look up psychology. And then you'll put the course number right here, so 101. And then another thing I'd recommend doing is that, you don't want to see all the classes that are filled up, right? We want to just see open classes. So you, instead of having it show all classes, change this to open classes and then click search. So right here, as of right now, today, we can see all of the Psych 101 classes, Intro to Psych, that are still open. So we can see the class, we can see the title, we can see the time, the days, and the location, and the professor as well, and then how many seats are still open in the class. So it's a good way to kind of get a feel for what's still available. Again, this will change between right now and when you are registering for courses. So it's really important that you keep going back using this class schedule resource to see how many seats are open once you get closer to your registration date. Let's use another example of a class. Let's look up Statistics 119. So stat, we'll change the number 119. Again, we want to make sure that it's showing open classes, and we'll click search here. And we can see all the Stat 119 courses. I know Stat 119 is very popular for business students. So one thing I do want to point out on here as well is that if you need to take Stat 119 for a course, either GE Math or a major prep in the fall semester, you need to make sure that you're taking Stat 119 right here and not enrolling in Stat 119A or 119X. So making sure that you're enrolling in the big lecture of Stat 119. One thing cool to know though is Stat 119A, this is like a tutoring class that you're welcome to take, like a 1-unit tutoring course you could take in addition to Stat 119. So extra little resource for business students or anyone taking this course. So let's click on Stat 119 to get some more information on it. So we can see here that you'll have the full title, you'll also have the full description of the course. And it's really important too to check the footnotes to see if there's any important things you should know about the class, if you should know about the section, anything about the way the class will be formatted or taught. So make sure to check the footnotes right here when you're searching for all of your fall classes. Finally, the last tool I want to show you how to use on the class schedule page is Browse by General Education. So this is on the lower left-hand side. So go ahead and select Browse by General Education, and then make sure it is at least to 2022 here. And so what you can see are all the different GE courses listed out. So let's say you were looking at My Map and you saw that in the fall you needed to take GE Written Communication, but there was no specific class listed next to it. That means that you could take any GE Written Communication class and it will fulfill that requirement. So what you would want to do is just select Written Communication, and it's going to show you all the classes for fall 2022 that fulfill the written communication requirement. And again, it will show you, all the information, times, days, location, instructors, how many seats are open. We could click into any of these courses like we were doing with Stat 119 to see the description. We can see the footnotes, prereqs, anything like that. So this is a great tool to use. Let's look up another Browse by General Education course. So again, we'll go back to Browse by General Education. And this time let's select GE Lifelong Learning and Self-Development. And it gives us a whole nother huge list of classes that we can scroll through. So any of these classes in this list, any of these classes here would fulfill GE Lifelong Learning and Self-Development. And I would just recommend, if you don't have a specific course listed next to a GE, you could kind of look through your different options and see what looks most interesting to you. At this point, you have all the tools you need to put together your fall schedule. You know how to use My Map to see what courses are required for your major. You know how to use the AP chart to see what classes you may already have credit for. And you know how to use the schedule tool in web portal to look at the different classes specifically to see the times and how many seats are open and to read through the descriptions and the footnotes. That's pretty exciting, right? My recommendation for you is to make a list of all your required courses for the fall semester and then 3 sections that you would be happy to take. So for example, let's say you need to take Econ 101 in the fall. I would write down your top 3 sections or your top 3 times that you'd want to take the course. That way, when you get to registration time, if your top 2 sections are filled up, you have a really quick backup and you know which one you'd be happy to take. Or let's say that you wanted to take Music 151 for your GE Arts course, but by the time you get to your SDSU orientation, it's already filled up. You know how to go back into the class schedule tool and search Browse by General Education to see which other courses could fulfill your GE Arts requirement. The same thing goes for Honor 113. Let's say your top Honor 113 section is filled up when you go to your SDSU orientation. You want to make sure that you spent some time looking through the course descriptions so you have a couple of backup sections that you'd be happy to enroll in. My pro tip is to check the number of seats still available in the courses that you want to take 1 week in advance of your registration, 1 day in advance of your registration, and then again 1 hour before you go to your SDSU orientation. That way, if you need to make any changes in your planner, you're able to before you register for classes that day. Students are generally registered for classes by 6 p.m. on their SDSU orientation day. So if you want to check the classes after 6 p.m. on orientation days, you'll get a pretty good idea of what's still available. I really appreciate you for watching this entire video. I know it was really long, but it just means you're going to be super prepared when we meet for our one-on-one appointment before you go to your SDSU orientation. The link to schedule an appointment with me is in the email, so make sure to go back and do that before your SDSU orientation date. All right, now it's time for some FAQs. Generally, 10 minutes is enough time to get from class to class with a brisk walking pace. You won't be able to change your major officially quite yet, but you can pull up your My Map to look at that major's requirements. When you go to your SDSU orientation, you'll want to ask them if you're able to attend the orientation for that major or if that major will be available that day. That way you can get all the information that you need. That's awesome. Undeclared is one of my favorite majors because you get to explore all different kinds of classes and academic units while you're taking your GEs. If you're undeclared but you know which major you want to declare, same thing goes for the question before. When you go to your SDSU orientation, you'll want to make sure to let them know and see if you're able to attend orientation with that college on that day. Your registration will be set as August 1st until you attend your SDSU orientation. You'll be able to enroll in classes during your orientation as long as you attend. Go back and watch the earlier part of this video when I talk about how to plan for classes on Web Portal. The link to schedule an advising appointment with me is in the email. You don't need to do anything right now. Go ahead and plan for your first major courses for the fall semester, and then let's talk about it during the fall. You're going to want to contact the housing office, housing.sdsu.edu. If you can't make an advising appointment with me before your SDSU orientation for any reason, maybe it conflicts with work, maybe you're out of the country, please send me an email at honorsadvising@sdsu.edu and we can work something out. All right, you've done your homework, you know how to plan for your classes, you know how to make an appointment with me before your SDSU orientation. I am super excited to meet you. Please don't hesitate to reach out and send me an email if you think of any questions beforehand, and good luck.